Think about how you usually experience your city in the absolute depths of winter, like head down, rushing from one heated building to the next.
Right, it's just this dark, freezing obstacle course.
Exactly. But today, for our deep dive, we're looking at a piece called Brussels Brighter, which explores the Bright Brussels Festival of Lights. And it begs this really fascinating question. Can digital art actually alter the physical temperature and the social fabric of a city?
Yeah, we're really digging into how interactive light installations kind of rewrite the behavioral rules of urban spaces.
Right, and why understanding that design trick matters for the spaces you inhabit every single day.
Yep.
Okay, let's unpack this.
To really grasp that spatial shift, we have to look at, well, what happens when you project these high-lumen animated maps onto traditional architecture?
Like the Grand Place, right, with all those imposing centuries-old guild houses.
Exactly, or the neoclassical facade of the Royal Palace. I mean, these are buildings designed specifically to project permanence and power and authority.
It's like taking a rigid, formal boardroom and, throwing a disco ball right in the center. The architecture of the room hasn't changed a single inch.
But the behavioral rules of the space are instantly rewritten, yeah. What's fascinating here is the psychological subversion happening. Projection mapping uses software to map the physical coordinates of a three-dimensional building.
Oh, so they can make solid stone look like it's melting or breathing.
Right, or shattering completely. You're taking structures that demand quiet reverence and just washing them in this fluid, highly accessible digital energy.
Which raises an immediate question for me. Does that contrast actually make us appreciate the historic heritage more? Or does the architecture just become like a convenient blank screen for the software?
Well, it kind of forces a complete reevaluation of the space, because when the environment stops acting like a frozen monument, the people inside it naturally stop acting like isolated commuters.
Because they're physically engaging with it.
Exactly. You have these interactive sculptures equipped with motion sensors that shift color spectrums when you get close to them.
Oh, and the projections that capture children's shadows and just integrate them into the display in real time.
Yeah, and then there's the Monde des Arts, which transforms into this massive communal hub.
Right, fueled by the scent of Belgian waffles and mulled wine, of course. But here's where it gets really interesting. I have to push back a little on the so-called magic of the art itself here.
Okay, let's hear it.
Is it genuinely the interactive tech drawing thousands of people into a freezing February night? Or is the art just a brilliant urban planning excuse to, stand around, eat hot waffles, and be together?
Well, that is a fair point. I mean, the waffles are definitely doing some heavy lifting there.
I mean, who could resist a hot Belgian waffle in the cold?
Nobody, right. But if we connect this to the bigger picture, it is a textbook example of tactical urbanism and placemaking. The art isn't just a shiny distraction.
Right, it's the anchor.
Exactly. It shifts the dynamic from passive museum observation to active participation. And there is a really neat physiological trick happening too.
Wait, physiological, like with the cold?
Yeah, the biting winter cold actually amplifies the sensory warmth of the gathering. The physical discomfort of the environment makes huddling around a glowing, interactive sculpture with complete strangers feel much more intimate.
Oh wow, that makes so much sense. But that sensory overload of the crowd eventually requires a palate cleanser, right?
Yeah, which is exactly what happens when the festival routes transition you into the Parc de Bruxelles.
Right, you see this deliberate shift from communal energy back to individual residence.
The lighting designers turn the park into this peaceful, glowing forest. They use soft beams tracing the trees to create colorful pathways.
And that leverages ambient light to naturally lower heart rates, right?
Exactly. It leaves visitors with a lingering sense of tranquility long after the physical installations are dismantled and the temporary lights are cut.
So what does this all mean? It proves that your perception of everyday, rigid environments is entirely malleable. A dark, freezing obstacle course can be engineered into a warm, communal playground just by manipulating photons.
It really highlights how much influence lighting has on our behavior and our mood.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Which leaves you with something to consider. If a temporary light show can completely alter the emotional temperature and behavioral rules of a freezing city, how could you use subtle, intentional lighting changes in your own mundane spaces?
Like your living room or maybe your office.
Exactly. How might a simple shift in light radically rewrite your daily mental state? Something to chew on the next time you find yourself rushing through the dark.
Źródło miłości jest w Tobie.
The source of love is in you.
La source de l'amour est en toi.
De bron van liefde zit in u.
Bliskość.
La proximité.
Nabijheid,
Nearness.
Zaufanie,
La confiance.
Zaufanie.
vertrouwen,
Faith.
zapatrzenie
La contemplation.
Zapatrzenie.
Concern.
contemplatie.
i że Cię nie opuszczę.
I że Cię nie opuszczę.
En dat ik u niet zal verlaten.
Et je ne t'abandonnerai pas.
And that I will not